Here's what I made from scratch this week to save money, reduce preservatives, and lower waste. The cranberry powder from last week finished dehydrating, so I ground it up into a fine powder. You can use this to flavor things like yogurt or smoothies, but I'm going to use it to make natural cookie food dye. And then I made some hard-boiled eggs to use up some eggs from the fridge. I peeled them so they were ready to go in the fridge for a quick snack. Then I bought the biggest butternut squash I'd ever seen from the grocery store, so I made a big batch of my classic butternut squash soup. This recipe is in my cookbook from scratch, and it's my favorite fall soup. I make this pretty thick just to save on a little bit of freezer space. I'll add a little vegetable broth when I go to reheat the cubes, and this made 3 meals for 2 of us. I did also shred some mozzarella cheese just to have in the fridge, and then a batch of our cheddar blend cheese, and I did pay the cheese tax. And then I wanted to use up our sourdough discard in the fridge, so I made a double batch of sourdough discard bagels. You already know how much I love to make these. I left some of them plain. We'll add everything seasoning to the top of the cream cheese for those, and then the other half I added shredded cheese to. And I had my last 2 jalapenos from the garden in the fridge, so I chopped those up and added them to the top of a few as well. I sliced all of the bagels and added them to a big bag in our freezer. I had a little discard left to use, so I added it to a measuring cup with a little melted butter and a little algae oil, and then mixed it up. I spread it out onto a baking sheet, added a bunch of homemade everything seasoning to them, and baked for about 15 minutes. I take it out, and then I just cut them to make crackers and add them back in to brown a bit. I left these in a little too long, but that's okay. They're perfect with our fancy cheeses in the fridge. That's all for this week. See you next week.